So then someone's asking, how do we get over that pain? It's the wrong kind of thinking. That's the thought that keeps you stuck. You don't get over the pain. How can I do a dopamine detox while having depression and porn addiction? Well, that's the only time you can do a dopamine detox. What I would think is actually a harder question to answer is, how can I do a dopamine detox when I'm meditating at a monastery on top of a mountain for 30 days? Like, that's harder. So when thinking about what I do on a daily basis, I wake up, watch porn, go to my computer, play video games, watch YouTube, go to my bed, scroll through social media, go back to my computer, play video games, watch YouTube, back to my bed, watch porn, and so on. Right? A truly glorious life. When I try to do anything other than these highly dopaminergic activities like meditation, yoga, exercise, socializing, cooking, reading, hiking, all the healthy stuff, all I can think about is this over yet? Can I go back to my computer yet? Because I find almost zero enjoyment in these other activities. It feels like I have no competing interests that rival YouTube, video games, or porn. I have zero interest or desire in doing anything besides these three things. When I attempt doing a dopamine detox, I can't last for more than a day. My life has been like this for years. I used to enjoy making art, and I still want to be an artist, but I just don't really enjoy making art anymore, and I find it boring and pretty much pointless these last few years. I'm currently attending college right now, mainly to avoid having a job, and it feels like I'm only capable of doing the absolute bare minimum. It feels like I'm trapped in these dopaminergic activities, and my brain won't let me do anything else. Any advice? So, this is unfortunately a common problem, where people are stuck in a dopaminergic cycle of YouTube, pornography, video games, social media, sleep. Sometimes addictions are thrown in. Marijuana use, alcohol, what have you, vaping. So a lot of people are in this situation. And so they're like, I don't know how to stop this. Anytime I try to do the healthy stuff, it's boring. All my mind thinks is, I can't stop. When is this going to be over? When is this going to be over? When is this going to be over? When can I get back to the dopaminergic stuff that kills my soul but satisfies my brain? It's a big problem. So this is what the Jnana Yoga approach will be. Okay, so we're going to take a different approach to this question. So what a Jnana Yogi would say is, like, what are you expecting when you cook or you read or you go for a hike or you socialize? Like, what are you looking for? What do you think that's going to feel like? Are you doing these activities expecting it to do anything except for suck? Because that's what's going to happen. If your brain is addicted to dopamine, all these activities are going to suck. They're going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. Like, people will say, like, oh, I tried doing this stuff, but it's not as fun as YouTube or video gaming. Yeah, it's never going to be. That's why YouTube and video games are like, pornography are taking over the world. Because they are, by definition, more dopaminergic and more behaviorally reinforcing than cooking. No one's like, I'm addicted to cooking. I'm addicted to hiking, Dr. K, help me. I'm addicted to hiking. I just can't stop. Every time I go for a hike, I rest for a little while, and it's like, I gotta go out and buy celery and make myself a salad. Oh my God, I can't stop. No one gets addicted to that stuff. Right? Because it's not addictive. So the first question is, like, what are you expecting? Like, are you expecting this stuff to be fun? Or are you expecting it to, like, give you instant gratification like YouTube or pornography? Like, you think talking to another human being is going to feel anything like pornography feels? And so the first thing you've got to really ask yourself is, what are you expecting out of doing these activities? Are you waiting? Because this is what I oftentimes see, is that people are like waiting to get the dopamine hit from the reading. They're like, how many days do I need to read before I get the same dopamine hit that I get from playing a video game? And the Jnana Yogi would say, you're never going to get the same dopamine hit. So then the question, and then you're like, okay, well, if I'm never going to get the same dopamine hit, like, then what? What do I do? And that's where Jnana Yoga comes in again. And so then the question is, like, what do you want your life to be? Right? So if you want your life to be a cycle of YouTube, video games, and pornography, then by all means, do what you're doing. If you want your life to be something else, like having a fulfilling relationship, not being filled with shame, being able to go to sleep, being proud of the way that you look. If you want some of those things, then this is not going to be the pathway to do it. And then you're going to say, well, like, those things are hard. And it's like, yeah, like, that's the price, right? So then at some point, You have to internally decide what's more important to you. Do you want to have your mind be not bored on a daily basis? Is that the most important thing to you? Then by all means, continue living the life you're living. Or are you willing to tolerate some boredom or a lot of boredom for the sake of some of these other things? And really ask yourself the question. Don't just default to, yeah, of course, so that's what I want to do. It's what I should do. I think. It's what everyone else does. If your mind is producing answers like that, you don't actually want it. It's just you think it's better, right? But that's not actually what you want to. And this is where Jnana Yoga comes in. So you really have to look at yourself and ask yourself, genuinely, what is more important to me? If I had a choice between having no dopamine and being bored out of my mind, but I had made art at the end of the year, versus a year of like losing myself in video gaming, pornography, and YouTube, which one would I pick? And then if you say to yourself, I would pick the art. And so, okay, interesting. So that means that you're going to have to be bored for a year. So let's start today. And then what does your mind say? Well, I don't like this. Okay, so like that's the choice that you have. Do you want to make choices that your mind likes? Or do you want to make choices that your mind dislikes? This is the path of Jnana Yoga. So this is something that we work a lot on in coaching. You guys saw someone was asking about coaching resources earlier. So we streamed one of our coach trainings. And one of our important coach trainings is about goal setting and motivation to help people navigate this internal struggle. Because when people lack motivation, like you really have to look at yourself and realize that you don't lack motivation. It's just pointed in the wrong direction. You're very motivated. This person is highly, highly motivated. They're very motivated to watch pornography, play video games, and watch YouTube, to the exclusion of all these other dimensions in their life. When your life is going to hell in all of these different ways, that's not a sign of a lack of motivation. It's a sign of very, very high motivation because you're sacrificing so much. You're ruining every other dimension of your life. So like you have to be highly, highly just think about how motivated you have to be to like ruin things that are important to you. You have to be really motivated. Is it not healthy? Sure. It's not healthy. No one's saying it's healthy, but let's be honest with ourselves about where our motivation is actually pointed. So this is the first problem that people don't understand, is they think I'm not motivated. Misdiagnosis. Just think about how successful you're going to be. If you diagnose yourself as a lack of motivation, when in fact what you have is too much motivation, how successful do you think you're going to get at getting out of that problem? It's like the opposite diagnosis. Right? It's the exact opposite. It's like if you're hungry, if you don't realize you're hungry and you think you're full all the time and you're wondering like what's going on, I'm full, and what you actually are is hungry, like you're never going to fix that problem. You're like, I need to eat less, when actually you're hungry the whole time. So everyone's like trying to figure out, how do I find motivation? You don't need to find motivation. You need to get rid of motivation. That's why everyone's so damn stuck all the time. Because you're so motivated for YouTube, video games, and pornography. And then you say, but that's not what I want to be motivated in. There's the second problem you run into. Because if that were true, you wouldn't be doing it. The thing you should realize is I'm highly motivated to do it. So it's like colossal misdiagnoses lead to people being stuck because you're solving a problem that doesn't exist instead of solving the one that does. And so this is what we try to train our coaches to help people figure out. Is that it's not that there's so we have this drive matrix and things like that where you explore with people like, okay, what actually motivates you? What are the shoulds in your life and what are the things that you actually want? What are you driven towards and what do you think you should be doing? Let's understand that those are two entirely different things. Where does that come from? How do we work through that? How do we move things from the should column to the things that, I value or I care about? So there's a lot of reframing and things like that have to happen. But start off by recognizing, what are you expecting from not playing video games, pornography, and YouTube? What are you expecting? What do you think your life is going to be like? The truth is, it's going to suck in a lot of different ways. And there will be a different kind of enjoyment. So I'll just explain this very quickly, then we're going to wrap up for the day. So when you have a dopaminergic life, it feels really good in your mind. And it's like a desert for your soul. You're going to feel like in the in-between spaces, you're going to feel like existential dread, feel like your life is moving in the wrong direction, feel ashamed of yourself, feel envious of others. There's this whole like pile of like negative emotional demons that's like hiding in the closet. And every once in a while, like the door of the closet will like open up and they'll come rushing out. And then like it takes a lot of pornography to like push them back in, right? Because pornography is the antidote to inner demons. And so if you're in that situation, like what you're giving up, the trade that you make is the exact opposite, right? It's like having fulfillment and being proud of yourself and all that kind of stuff, like maybe having a healthy relationship. But you're going to give up like all the benefits of the dopaminergic crap. So you're not going to have fun. You're going to be bored at times. It's going to be hard. You're going to feel negative things. You're going to feel good things too. So you have to kind of choose between like the brain and the soul. Because if you want to choose the brain, then you're going to get constant stimulation. It'll be like sort of fun. But then you'll be raging at your teammates and feeling empty on the inside. And you can play video games as much as you want to fill up that emptiness. You can watch his pornography as much as you want to do away with the feeling of loneliness and lack of companionship. And you can watch YouTube as much as you want to inform yourself about things that are neat instead of actually doing something in the world. You can learn about what other people are doing as much as you want to. It's never going to fix the whole of not having done anything yourself. The downside, though, is if you do things yourself, if you enter into a relationship and you find fulfillment, it's like your mind is going to be in pain for parts of that. You're going to have to make sacrifice. Entering into a relationship is not all just, getting rid of your loneliness. It's like having to deal with another human being's emotional needs, which can be incredibly exhausting. Finding fulfillment in life and being proud of what you do oftentimes comes with blood, sweat, and tears. Like the problem is like if you're in this dopaminergic whatever, like the second that blood, sweat, or tears starts to happen, we just all fold, we cave. Back. Let me go back. So the real question that you should ask yourself, and this is the essence of Jnana Yoga, is like, what are you expecting? And what do you want? And what choice do you want to make? Because the choice is yours. You just need to make it and recognize that the choice, you have to stop picking the good choice and start picking the crappy choice. You have to start picking blood, sweat, and tears over enjoyment, relaxation, and hitting the fast forward button on your life. So then someone's asking, how do we get over that pain? It's the wrong kind of thinking. That's the thought that keeps you stuck. You don't get over the pain. What you need to choose is the path to not get over the pain. You need to accept the pain, embrace the pain. It ain't going anywhere. This is the whole problem. It's a beautiful question. How do I get over the pain? It's the exact question that causes failure over and over and over again. Because everyone's like, when does this end? It doesn't end. If you want to put together your life, it doesn't end. If you're waiting for the pain to stop, if you're waiting for like a book to be as exciting as playing the Lost Ark beta, not going to happen. Maybe happened with Harry Potter book 4. It's the closest we're going to get in our lifetime. Right? So accept that you're not going to get over it. And that's where you'll get free from it.